Good day. I am Dr. Diane Van Hook, Chancellor of the Santa Clarita Community College District. As a longtime advocate for career education and technical training, I'm happy to share with you my thoughts on the role of inspiration, vision, and creativity in the ability of our colleges to meet the workforce needs of California. The other videos in this series have addressed the nuts and bolts of maximizing our college's contribution to workforce development. In this video, I want to consider how to best move from inspiration to implementation while leading change efforts related to career education on each campus. So what is career education? As we get started, it's helpful to pause for a moment and define career education. Career education is what we now call CTE, or Career Technical Education. Some of you who've been around for a while may even still call it voc-ed or vocational education. But what we call it today doesn't matter. What matters is what career education delivers for the local workforce and our students. Career education provides students with both technical and academic skills needed to succeed in future careers and to become lifelong learners. It equips students with the knowledge and the training required in the world of work by introducing them to workplace competencies, which are, by the way, ever-changing, and makes academic content accessible to students by providing it in a hands-on context. Why is this so important? Focusing on career education is more important now than ever because of the changes we see in business and industry each and every day. In some cases, half of what a student learns in a technical field can be obsolete within 2 years. In order for our students to keep up with the changes, our colleges must lead the way forward in adding new curriculum and adapting what we currently teach and how we teach it. Most of us became CEOs because we believe we can make a significant difference in the lives of our students, our colleges, and the economic health of our communities by leading strategic change. When it comes to career education, we need to focus our efforts on adapting to the needs of the communities we serve. Now more than ever, community colleges play a pivotal role in preparing people to not only enter dynamic, fast-changing economic venues, but also to stay current in those venues. Of the many disciplines we teach, those in the career fields are changing the very fastest. The biggest driver, of course, is technology. Look at almost any field and you will realize it looks very different than it did not only a decade ago, but 5 years ago and 2 years ago. How we motivate and organize the people of our colleges and our structures to adapt, and how we engage our students are areas that are ripe for innovation. It is really up to us as CEOs to point that way forward. In the next few minutes, we'll discuss how you, as a CEO, can foster innovation, welcome creativity, cultivate collaboration, and inspire those you lead to make the most of the opportunities ahead. Fostering innovation begins with inspiration. We may tend to think of inspiration as something that happens internally, that random spark of an idea or an aha moment. But inspiration is both internal and external. We can have a sudden insight, or if you will, an epiphany, It can be a solution to a problem, or even the sudden recognition of a problem that we had not identified as a problem before. On the other hand, inspiration may come from the outside, from the big picture context, and from changes on the edge that move in. A quote, a speech, or a call to action, an event on the news, or even observing a role model can unlock something that moves us to action. Regardless of the source, it's important to remember that inspiration can also be fostered, and fostered by you. It starts by welcoming change, by letting others know that you don't expect them to do things the same old way they've always been done, unless there's a good reason for doing so. In both one-on-one interactions and in group meetings, a CEO can challenge the members of a campus to envision what would make life better for students, what would help them succeed, what would get barriers out of the way so they can move forward on their path. That is an essential role of the leader, to create an atmosphere that inspires others to be open, to shape change, and supports those people by enabling them to pursue it. By being enthusiastic about change and generating and welcoming new ideas, a college CEO will invite others to do the same. By welcoming creativity with inspiration and leading the way, you will naturally kick in that curious tendency that we tend to unlearn as we get older. Creativity is the application of imagination. As leaders, we must let our imaginations roam free, and a key role we play is to encourage others to do the same. By creating a safe environment in which that can happen, by challenging others to think about what could be if there were no barriers, you as a CEO set that stage. During this process, if you let ideas blossom and see where creativity will take you, you will end up in a better place at your college than you would have if you'd followed the recipe or the formula. At a later point, evaluate the options for feasibility, like likelihood of success, or whether we're just repeating history but calling it something different. There are so many ways to stimulate creativity, some that have proven successful for our college, including reframing the questions that we ask, collaborating with others outside of our areas to generate a fresh perspective, projecting and describing solutions on how we're going to close the gap. Where are we? Where do we want to be? And how can we work backwards to get to that desired state? And also by making unusual combinations of familiar ideas and put them together in a new product. Working backwards, if you start with the end in mind and then figure out how to get there, you will foster innovation and welcome creativity. And those are the drivers behind our most innovative, responsive, and contemporary solutions at College of the Canyons. The University Center is probably the best example. Currently, 5 universities offer more than 40 bachelor's, master's, and doctoral programs at our center. Located on our campus, it houses also several of the college's workforce programs, such as the Small Business Development Center, the Center for Applied and Competitive Technology, and our Employee Training Institute, as well as our Entrepreneurship Center. This center helps meet the needs for accessible educational opportunities that serve businesses so they can thrive in our local community. Our eager local business population, our employers, and our workers recognize the value of the University Center. It wasn't always the case. When we first conceived of the University Center, knowing that our population was going to grow, that we were going to be doubling our enrollment in 7 to 8 years, it was difficult for all of those people that were moving here and working here to get out of town on our lovely Los Angeles freeway system to get to the locations for bachelor's and master's programs. We had no partners and few models to follow. As a matter of fact, my colleagues in the system, when I excitedly told them about the University Center at a rainy CEO board meeting in San Francisco, said, "Why would you want to do that? Why would you want to try to figure out how to bring together all of that money? That's really not our function." Well, I disagree. In our California community colleges, our responsibility is to meet our community's needs. And my response was, why not us? By working to convey the vision of building a university center which would bring access to higher education, training, and degrees to our community, by inspiring others with enthusiasm and being creative, we developed a network of partnerships necessary to raise the revenue, to get the rules changed, and to build this center where we now offer high-quality upper division degrees, and we realized that dream. To date, almost 3,000 bachelor's and master's degrees have been earned, and the center serves as a thriving one-stop workforce training center in action. Cultivating collaboration is perhaps the most important step in building a foundation for change. And you have to cultivate it. It doesn't happen naturally. People don't automatically wake up and say, I think today I'll go partner over here, or I'm going to bring that person in over there. While creativity and innovation will show you where you want to go, collaboration, the process, is what gets you there. Collaboration is the key to implementation. Henry Ford probably said it best. Coming together is a beginning, keeping together is progress, and working together is success. As CEOs, we can encourage cross-disciplinary work groups that engage and foster the development of integrated instructional, student support, and operational units. By doing so, we will build mutual understanding, enrich discussions, produce better ideas, more practical and doable solutions, and develop strategic plans. Collaboration enables a campus and its participants to learn that it can do more as a group than as isolated units in silos. In a recent summer at College of the Canyons, we had an opportunity to see collaboration in action in a way I'm not sure we had ever seen before. We realized that there was going to be unclaimed FTES in our system. It was May. We were just about ready to start summer session. And we realized that if we could generate additional FTES, we could boost our funding base for that year and for every other year by hundreds of thousands of dollars. We formed a cross-functional team in an hour. It included public information representatives, admissions, counseling, the business office, the Child Development Center, and many others. We added classes to the schedule, rolled out an effective marketing campaign, and hosted weekend and evening on-site registration events. We called it a rush. As a result of this collaborative work, we added an additional $800,000 to our funding base for the year and forevermore. We never could have done that if we'd sat around in our departments or at our desks and come up with the solutions by ourselves. Collaboration extends beyond our campus boundaries at College of the Canyons. It includes business and industry and other community partners, especially in career education. They are not just desirable and enviable partners, they're essential players. They help define the need for workforce training. They contribute to developing the solutions. They assist in the implementations of the plans, and they provide support and resources in unexpected and unanticipated ways. Overcoming the obstacles to building creative, vision-driven workforce programs in our colleges are all too familiar to community college CEOs. Some administrators and faculty think that career education doesn't belong in an institution of higher education, and others see it as kind of a lesser form of education or an expense that doesn't generate enough revenue. Silos can also be a challenge. We're all organized by disciplines and departments, and many of our colleges continue to look at how they do their work in that narrow field of study. But at College of the Canyons, we approach it a little bit differently. Take multimedia design, for example. Where should that be taught? Art and design department? Computer applications? Literature and storytelling? It is, of course, something that cuts across all of the disciplines. It's not siloized, and it brings more exciting, innovative, and change-shaping ideas to the table. When you do that, and you can only do that if you have people and a CEO who conveys the attitude that our college is not about preserving power and territory, it's about promoting student access, opportunity, and success. It's the CEO's responsibility to look at who is hired into faculty positions, to look at how the use of space, lab space and studio, is allocated out to the departments who need it, and to figure out how to bring the resources together to make extraordinary things happen. Building an innovative campus culture that gets people out of their silos starts with a CEO. There are some strategies that have worked for me in my work in advancing workforce training and creating programs that are relevant and beneficial to the workforce and the students. These are not revolutionary. They are all things that you have heard many times before, but I ask that you consider them in light of our efforts to foster innovation, to welcome and inspire creativity, and to cultivate collaboration. First, you need to model the behavior and the attitudes that you expect in others. You need to be inclusive and invite people in to engage them in dialogue. That enriches the outcomes of the discussion, and it increases the sources of new ideas, the networks, and the possibilities. And you must engage them early and often. Be positive and help build ideas rather than criticize them. Nothing kills creativity and creative, innovative thinking like negativity. Also, it's your job to make others look good and to shower them with credit for their accomplishments. Everybody needs that encouragement. Also, very important in your role in fostering innovation, collaboration, and creativity is to break down those silos. Knowledge is supposed to be shared, not caged. Knowledge is supposed to open the doors and create the targets for creativity, not stifle what can happen. Be an active listener and really hear what people are saying. Don't start in your mind responding to them before they get those words out. Encourage failure and learn from it, because those ideas will help you be successful in leading the way to building a campus culture that is marked by innovation. I thank you for spending a few minutes with me. I don't know about you, but I benefit when I hear about the great ideas, your creativity, the innovative partnerships that you've developed in order to help you meet the workforce needs at your college. We benefit at College of the Canyons, And hearing about what you're doing helps to inspire us to imagine what the future holds for our 20 and 30-year-old students who will be in the workforce, we hope, for another 30 years or more. It's fun to look at what the future will hold. What unheard of technologies will be in play? And how can our colleges best prepare our students for the changes that they will face? By fostering innovation, inviting and welcoming creativity, and cultivating collaboration, we can envision the future and begin to answer these questions to the benefits of our students and community.